So the last 2 weeks faced pretty good run teams, and you guys did a pretty good job limiting what they could do on the ground. What's the reason for it?
Yeah, just an improvement in our execution and detail. Before, not to go back too far, but before Iowa, we had a bye week where we really wanted to focus on ourselves and what we needed to improve on. We think as a team, and the coaches believe that we won the bye week, and I think that it showed in the Iowa week and progressed on to the school down the road week.
Now with Indiana, they're a little bit more passive, explosive. What's the challenge you see there? Kind of flipping from Iowa, Michigan type of offense.
Yeah, same thing. I mean, it's going to have to just depend on a lot of our execution and detail and communicating with one another.
When you mentioned that bye week, was there anything that you guys learned about yourselves that's led to these last couple of weeks that you just, when you're on the treadmill of the first 6, you just can't really dive into? Is there anything that you can attribute to that?
Yeah, I mean, it's that's kind of the reason for the bye week. You want to go into the bye week, look at your tendencies, look and see what you're doing well as a defense, look and see what you're not doing so well, and use that week. You want to go into the bye week, look at your tendencies, look and see what you're doing well as a defense, look and see what you're not doing so well, and use that bye week as a time to improve on the things that you aren't doing well and to keep improving on the things that you are doing well.
With Jordan going to miss the first half this week, so you guys have been deep at the position, but what's the outlook there? Being down a captain for 30 minutes.
Yeah, very unfortunate. A little bit of a crazy call in my opinion. But we got to keep pushing on, keep moving on. We'll miss him in the first half, but we're going to keep preparing out through the week and get ready for him to contribute like he always does in the second half.
How much is targeting on your mind when you're going in to make a tackle in real time in a game like that? Do you think? You obviously know if you spear somebody, you're going to get thrown out, but you're going in to make a tackle in real time in a game like that. Do you think? You obviously know if you spear somebody, you're going to get thrown out, but it seems like if there's any head contact first, how much are you thinking about that when you're making tackles?
We practice making the right form tackles, so it's not like something that I'm not going into a tackle like, oh, I need to keep my head up, but it's just something that we practice and it becomes routine. Sometimes in the heat of the moment, depending on angles and whatnot, stuff happens, which I think happened in JT's case in the slightest bit, but yeah, it's not something that you really think about, but it's just a routine thing.
Have you had some where you, because of the angles and the way it went in, you thought, uh-oh, and you're worried about?
I guess maybe the was it necessary roughness I had at FAU, where he was sliding. I see that almost just as much as I see JT's penalty last week, where it's not really one of those calls that we would agree with, but that's the closest thing that I can think of.
Can we talk about leadership? You tell us a little bit about what sideline leadership looks like when someone like Jordan has to go out, and then what does locker room leadership look like after a tough emotional loss?
JT, he's a big focal point leader for the defense, especially when times are down. So we're gonna need people like myself and everybody else collectively to come together and keep the morale going. He'll be there. It's not like he's not playing. He'll still be around on the sideline, being supportive in that first half, and then contributing on the field in the second half. And kind of the same thing in the locker room. He's still around. He's still practicing. He's still doing everything. But just with his absence on the field in the first half, some people are going to have to step up, including myself.
I assume he's going to obviously play in the second half, but he doesn't have that sort of warm-up period in the first half. Not to say warm-up, he can't learn from it. I'm curious, someone who's in his position, how much do you consult with him and say, hey man, I'm seeing this, X, Y, and Z? How much can you prepare him?
We do that throughout the course of the week and the course of the game. We continue to prepare, not only before the game, but during the game, things that we're seeing. So, whether somebody's playing or not, as soon as we get back from the sideline, we're talking about what we saw, things that maybe were different than what we practiced during the week. So that's always a big part of our game plan throughout the week and on game day.
Have you seen yourself improve throughout this season, year number 2, new coaching staff, new scheme? In what areas do you feel like you've improved even since September 1st or so? And where did you feel you needed to improve in some areas during that time?
Yeah, I just feel like I need to be a little more physical at the point of contact, a little more detail-oriented. I feel like last year I was kind of just flying around and ending up in the right spots, whereas this year I've learned a lot, just about the scheme as a whole, and just better recognition of plays, things like that.
You guys had 15 sacks the first 4 games, and then 0 since then. I mean, some of that is situation dependent, with some of the matchups. But I guess what's going to be the key to getting more pressure in the backfield, especially the team that passes it?
Yeah, we got to win up front with some of our pass rush attempts, and then we have to cover better in the back end. And I think that we're taking the right steps in that direction throughout the practice through the week. Haven't had any sacks the last few weeks, but we've had pressure, so right steps in that direction throughout the practice through the week. Haven't had any sacks the last few weeks, but we've had pressure, so just got to capitalize on those pressures, get the quarterback on the ground, and get home quick and cover.
Is Cal like your main green dot out there?
Yeah, usually because on third down I drop down, so I'm not playing Mike anymore. And same thing for JT. JT comes out on third down, so he's kind of like the constant, whether it's third down or first and second down. So he usually gets the green dot.
Turner usually has it.
No,
First,
Cal.
okay,
Cal
okay,
is the
so-
constant
'cause I
in the
noticed.
first.
I think I saw Jordan put it on like 2 snaps before he got dumped out.
Yeah.
And then, so I just didn't know if that was going to affect communication or anything for you guys this week. But
Yeah, no. Usually, unless we switch up. The rotation changes every few series or so. So it honestly just depends on the rotation. But usually it's whoever is in on third down that series. That's who has the green dot.
When you talk about sacks and just tackles for loss in general, I'm curious how important that is to get a team like Indiana off schedule. It seems like they're really good at staying out of the sticks, and
Yeah.
that opens up their offense a lot.
Yeah, that's one of the most important things when it comes to any team, but especially a good team like Indiana, where they haven't trailed all game, and that comes their lack of not having a lot of minus plays. So getting them off schedule is one of our key points this week. Getting them to second and 8, second and 9, those longer second downs to get to third down and get off the field.
second week in a row, you guys aren't exactly sure which quarterback I guess you're going to get. What's it like preparing for that? Is that a big deal? I mean, the scheme is the scheme, but guys obviously have some differences. Like, what's that like preparation-wise?
Yeah, both quarterbacks are good players. We saw last week in their game against Washington, their backup quarterback was able to produce. We know that they're the guy who's been starting for them for the first 5 or 6 games has produced really well. But they're a real scheme team, and there's not really that much of a difference. We believe in play between one quarterback between the other, schematically wise. Each quarterback has their own different, just their attributes and what they can do. But I don't see a lot of a difference in their scheme when it comes between quarterbacks. A little bit more QB run per se I saw last week against Washington, but nothing
Is
crazy.
there any extra, like, you got Anthony and Chad, both at Indiana last year? They have any insight to the personnel, obviously, different staff and everything, but
No, I wouldn't say so. I probably know a little bit more than some guys who came from the Sun Belt, like Wayne, and I know I'm from that area. I know a few guys over there, so we probably have a little bit more intel on their personnel and their staff more than those guys. But
Alex just emphasized the importance of forcing turnovers. Obviously, that's something you want to do every game, but it seems like that's something your unit needs to do to take the next step, or at least the front seven. Is that something you agree with?
yeah, that's kind of been our MO the whole year. I know it hasn't happened necessarily as much as we wanted it to as of recently, but it's always, and I think for any defense, it's always and forever going to be the emphasis for the defense is getting the ball back to the offense.
Are you guys on defense taking notice of these last couple weeks on offense? They're going to run the ball more. They had like an 8-minute drive or whatever to start that last.
You're saying our offense?
Yeah, are you guys on your defense noticing how they've thrown a little bit on offense, especially being a little more balanced these last couple weeks? Just what's that like?
Yeah, offense has made like a major jump since the bye week, and we've noticed that we've supported them. We just gotta keep up on our end of the bargain and keep trying to get those turnovers and get the ball back to them to allow them to stay in their scheme, stay in their game plan.